Hi, everyone. My name's Samir. I'm a PhD candidate at the University of British Columbia, and I'm excited to tell you about some work we've been doing in identifying and measuring cross-lingual information gaps in English Wikipedia. So in 2008, Jimmy Wales said in an interview with the New York Times that creating a free encyclopedia of high quality for everyone in their own language is his explicit goal with the Wikipedia project. And my group has been really interested in interrogating this aspect of multilinguality. And indeed, there are by now over 300 language editions of Wikipedia, so it really has been this earnest focus. But it's also a little bit more complicated when we think of which versions actually get attention. So let's look at Wikipedia activity in 2024, where we had 180 million edits across all of Wikipedia's language editions. But of course, these edits weren't uniformly distributed. Instead, 72 million of these edits were contributed to English Wikipedia specifically. By comparison, the next largest Wikipedia by number of articles, German, received about 9 million edits in total. And this is actually a problem, right? This overwhelming dominance of English Wikipedia makes it feel superior, almost as though it were a superset of other language editions. So this has been observed in some projects that readers and editors alike perceive it as almost this master knowledge base. So a 2021 study that interviewed editors of Hindi and Urdu Wikipedia found that editors for these smaller language editions do their background research on English Wikipedia, again, using it as this reference knowledge base. Readers too think that English Wikipedia has everything, and other language editions would either have exact translations or a subset of a translation. So this is to say that English Wikipedia is perceived as has this master knowledge base. But the key word here is perceived. Whether it actually is a superset is a different question altogether. And that's the question we're actually interested in. So if we consider Brittany Griner's Russian article page, are the facts in this page actually a subset of the facts in the English page? Now, this question is easy to pose, but it's actually surprisingly hard to compute. At the In 2012, a group at Northwestern that was doing a lot of work on cross-lingual dynamics of Wikipedia said explicitly that this type of detailed cross-language comparison is difficult. By detailed comparison, I mean that if we're looking at Brittany Griner's pages in English, French, and Russian, all three of them mention her date of birth. Unsurprisingly, it's pretty standard biographical information. But only the English page mentions that she recorded the sixth triple double in WNBA history. Only the Russian page mentions that she was accosted at the airport by a reporter who accused her of quote unquote hating America. And we want to be able to identify these overlaps and these gaps. So to do that, we came up with the infogap method, which can be roughly conceptualized as this pipeline with these three steps. So first, we take a pair of articles, say English and French, and decompose them into their constituent facts. For example, Brady Griner was born on October 18, 1990. That's one fact. That she's an American is another, and that she's a basketball player is yet another. All of these from the first sentence in her first paragraph. After getting the set of facts for both language versions, we try to line them up with one another using cross-lingual sentence embeddings. Finally, we do a verification step, which essentially tells us yes or no for whether the English fact has a match in the French fact, almost asking about semantic entailment. We find that the infogap method in general is super reliable. I won't walk you through the whole evaluation process in the interest of time, but we did evaluate it really carefully, having readers read both pairs of articles and annotate individual facts for whether they're unique to a language version or shared between both. Now, equipped with this fact, we can consider this metric, which is the proportion of content in an English page that's available in the French page. So it's about 39% for Brittany Griner for her English page. Now, we can compute this for a large number of biographies and visualize the distribution. So we find that for the median biography, 35% of its English content can also be found in its corresponding French page. However, when we look at the other direction, so when we're considering French pages, now we find that about 55% of the content in the French page can also be found in the English page. Um, so this is larger than the opposite coverage, but that still leaves a staggering 45% of content that is missing from this perceived master English language edition. Similarly, for when we look at Russian, we find that 34% of the content is missing from the English language edition. So this is all to say that English Wikipedia actually has really substantial data gaps, even though it's perceived as this really complete knowledge base. And these data gaps get even bigger when you're looking at French or Russian nationals, where the coverage gap, the size of it increases by 26% and 22%, respectively, for French and Russian. So just to show an example that these data gaps are actually quite substantive, we can look at Tim Cook's Russian Wikipedia page, which mentions his association with the Russia-Ukraine war, namely that he asked employees to help donate to Ukraine and that he would triple their donations. So this is available in Russian, but not English. We make all of our data analysis artifacts and implementation publicly available at the given GitHub page, and I'd love for you to check it out. And if you're doing research on multilingual dynamics of Wikipedia, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.